The next chapter of the story of our country will be written by our children. Within one generation, the babies of today will be our country's leaders, employers, innovators, educators, and will be shaping the future of our country. And so, for our collective future, we want all children to be on a pathway of thriving and reaching their full potential. We want them to be healthy, ready for school, and grow up to be contributing members of society. We want a bright future for our country, and our children are at the center of that story. Tragically, up to half the children in developing countries do not get a strong start to life. The foundation they need for future flourishing is not well established, and they're on a pathway of mere survival and struggling to get by. Let me share one statistic with you. In South Africa, as a result of chronic malnutrition, up to a third of children under 3 are stunted. And the effects of this last a lifetime, with impaired brain development, lower IQ, weakened immune systems, and a greater risk of disease later in life. Children who are stunted frequently have lower productivity and earn up to 20% lower than average wages as adults. And we know that children who are on this pathway of struggling typically end up having children who struggle, and the cycle of intergenerational poverty continues, and the next chapter for our country will be no different than today's. There is an ever-increasing body of evidence that for children to succeed, we need to invest early. With advanced brain scanning technologies, science is showing us that the early days of a child's life has a profound influence on their well-being, both as a young child as well as far into the future. The early days of a child's life are the first 1,000 days. This is the time from conception up to the age of 2. And it is in this time that the child's brain is developing at a never-to-be-repeated rate. And because of this rapid growth and development, the brain is particularly sensitive to experiences and the environment, whether good or bad. What happens to baby in this time really matters. And thousands of studies have shown that all children need 5 things to be on the pathway of thriving, to give their brain a good foundation for future learning and growth. These 5 things are adequate nutrition, stimulation or opportunities for early learning, security and safety, good health, and responsive caregiving from their parent or caregiver. Simply put, if we want our children to be on a pathway of thriving, they need to have enough of the right kind of care in their first 1,000 days of life. This then puts the spotlight on the adult in the child's life. The people who are responsible for providing nurturing, responsive care is the mom, the dad, the granny, or the adult in the child's life, because baby cannot provide these things for him or herself. Families are at the center of providing nurturing care for young children. And for us to see children thrive, we need to be focusing on the parents. We believe parents want to give their children a strong start to life. But parenting is hard. There are many factors that influence our parenting. We adopt parenting behaviors from what we experience or observe in others, whether these practices are healthy or not. And along with parenting comes a change in identity, additional burdens, sleepless nights, new relational challenges. Parenting is hard. And this is why we need to be paying attention to the well-being of the caregivers. Parents are most able to provide their children with nurturing care when they are doing well. And so we say all parents need support. Support like caring relationships, information and skills, and access to services. And the rest of life doesn't stop when you have a child. Factors like mental health challenges, poverty, violence in the household or community, and illness may overwhelm the strengths that parents have, negatively impacting the care they provide for their young child. These families may need targeted interventions in order for them to provide what baby needs. So for us to see our children thrive, we need to support the parents in the child's life. But who can provide the support? This is where the local church comes in. Spread across the nation are local churches that are already equipped to support families. Each church has inherent strengths and existing practices that make it well suited to play a supportive role for parents. Consider too that faith communities have a range of people in them, each with various capabilities and connections. And this social capital can be leveraged to focus on seeing families thrive. A church's support to families is sustainable too. Churches don't need to employ people to do this. They have existing practices that involve visiting families, caring for others, and training. And in addition to that, it's contextually relevant. Churches understand the community and cultural practices. And by using the strengths they already have, they can powerfully support families. And this is not about the church doing everything, but rather playing its unique role in a whole of society approach to seeing families thrive. Government services are essential. NGOs are crucial. We are talking about churches playing their role in supporting parents for their well-being so they can give their children a strong start to life. So let's go back to the future of our country. If we want the next chapter to be better, to have more flourishing, we need to focus in on the youngest of lives, from conception to 2 years. For these children to be on a pathway of thriving, we need to pay attention to parents, ensuring they have the support to provide what their young child needs. And the local church is equipped and positioned to care for families in powerful ways. There is a saying that says, "It takes a village to raise a child." And local churches are well placed to be those modern day villages around families. The work of Sikunye is to inspire, mobilize, and equip local churches to play their unique role in supporting parents. We focus on 3 primary activities. We raise awareness with churches, and for those that want to care for families in the first 1,000 days, we then equip them and support them and connect them to relevant resources and services. The next chapter of our country will be written by our children, but it is up to us to give them a strong start to life. Together, we can be part of seeing every child on a pathway of thriving.